Host, what if I told you that you could pull clean drinking water out of thin air, using no electricity, no moving parts, and for less than the cost of 2 pizzas? In a survival situation, or even just trying to lower your utility bill at the off-grid cabin, water weight is the heaviest thing you have to carry. Today, we're solving that. I'm going to show you how to build a passive atmospheric water collector, a hybrid fog and dew harvester, that can produce up to 5 gallons a week in the right conditions. We'll cover the exact parts list, the physics behind the angle, where to place it for maximum yield, and most importantly, how to filter it so it's safe to drink. Let's beat the desert. Before we start cutting, let's talk about how this works. There are 2 types of water in the air: fog, which is horizontal moving air with visible moisture, and dew, which is condensation caused by radiative cooling. This collector does both. When the sun goes down, the mesh cools down faster than the surrounding air. As humid air passes through or touches the cold mesh, the water vapor condenses into liquid water. Gravity does the rest, pulling it down into a gutter and into your container. Here is the exact parts list. I've priced this out at a big box hardware store, totaling roughly $12. First, the mesh. You want shade cloth, 50 to 70% density. Not the metal hardware cloth that's too open. Polypropylene shade cloth is cheap, doesn't rot, and holds water droplets perfectly. Expect to pay around $5. Next, the frame. Use 2x2 lumber. You just need 2 stakes and a crossbar. I'm using scrap cedar, but pine is fine. If you buy furring strips, it's about $3. For the collector, grab a 3-foot section of vinyl gutter with 2 end caps. That's roughly another $3. For hardware, you'll need stainless steel staples or zip ties, and optionally a spigot or bulkhead fitting if you want a neat way to drain into your container. And finally, any clean container like a 5-gallon water jug or a bucket works as your collection tank. Now let's build it. You don't even need power tools. Start with the frame. Take your 2 wooden stakes and cut them to about 6 feet tall. You want the mesh to stand off the ground to catch low-lying fog and to stay clean. Attach a crossbar at the top to form a rectangle. If you don't have a saw, most hardware stores will cut the wood for you free of charge. Next, attach the mesh. Roll out your shade cloth and pull it taut, like a drum skin. If it sags, the water droplets won't roll down. They'll just sit there and evaporate. Use stainless steel staples or zip ties to secure the mesh to the frame. Make sure the mesh does not touch the ground. Leave a 4-inch gap at the bottom to prevent dirt splashback from contaminating your water. Now the gutter. This is the harvesting part. Cut your vinyl gutter to the width of your mesh, then attach the end caps with PVC cement or simple silicone. Drill a hole in the bottom of the gutter and install your spigot or a short hose barb. This is where the water will exit directly into your bottle. Attach the gutter to the frame so it sits just below the bottom edge of the mesh. You want a slight tilt, about 5 degrees, so the water flows toward the spigot. Just screw the gutter into the wood frame. That's it, the build is done. Building it is easy, but making it produce water is all about placement. You can't just stick this in the backyard and expect a gallon tomorrow. First, the angle. If you live in a foggy area, coastal regions or mountains, you want this facing directly into the prevailing wind. The mesh should be vertical so the fog slams into it. If you live in a drier area and are relying mostly on dew, you want a slight angle around 45 degrees facing the sky. That increases the surface area for radiative cooling at night. Second, placement. Put this in an open area. If you set it under a tree, the tree will collect the dew before it reaches your mesh. Get it out in the open. Also avoid valleys or frost pockets. Cold air sinks, and if you put it at the bottom of a hill, it will be colder, but if it's too cold, the water freezes instead of dripping. You want the dew point to be above freezing. Lastly, elevation. If you're in a fog zone, fog settles in the lowest spots. You want the top of your collector to be at least 4 feet off the ground to catch the moving air layer, but not so high that it's above the fog layer. Usually 5 to 6 feet total height is the sweet spot. Let's manage expectations. This isn't a fire hose. YouTubers claiming 10 gallons a night are usually either in a rainforest or exaggerating. In ideal conditions, high humidity above 80%, heavy fog, or a strong temperature differential, this collector can produce between half a gallon to 1 gallon per night. With a 3-foot by 6-foot mesh, that's about 18 square feet of collection area. In low humidity, say 30 to 50%, you might get a few cups. That's still great for emergency survival, but not enough for washing laundry. In high humidity or coastal fog, this setup really shines. In places like San Francisco, Chile, or the Appalachian Mountains, you can easily pull 3 to 5 gallons a week. The key is consistency. You leave this up for a week, come back, and you have a week's worth of drinking water without carrying a drop. It's passive income for your water supply. Now for the most critical part, making it safe to drink. Just because water comes from the sky doesn't mean it's clean. Bird droppings, dust, pollen, and algae can collect on the mesh. You must filter this before drinking. We're going to build a simple gravity-fed biosand filter. You don't need a $50 survival filter. You can do this with 2 buckets. Start with a pre-filter. Run the collected water through a clean bandana or coffee filter first. This removes the big stuff, bugs, leaves, dirt. Next, make the charcoal layer. Take 1 bucket and drill small holes in the bottom. Line the bottom with a coffee filter to keep the media from falling through. Add a few inches of activated charcoal. You can buy this cheaply at a pet store in the aquarium section. On top of the charcoal, add a layer of fine sand, then a layer of coarse sand or small gravel. This creates a biological filter that removes pathogens and sediment. Place this bucket on top of your clean collection container. Pour your pre-filtered water into the top bucket and let gravity do the work. The water will slowly trickle through the charcoal and sand, emerging clean and clear. If you want to be extra cautious, you can boil the water after filtering, but for most off-grid situations where the mesh is kept reasonably clean, this filter setup is more than adequate. That's the whole system. For about $12 and an hour of your time, you have a passive, maintenance-free water source that works while you sleep. Whether you're prepping for emergencies, living off-grid, camping, or just looking for a smarter way to harvest what nature gives you for free, this collector will keep you hydrated without burning a single watt of power.